Deadpool 2. So in Deadpool 2, we follow our favorite merc with a mouth. It's unspecified how long after the first film this one takes place, but now Wade Wilson is a mercenary for hire. This is working as his day job, while at night he goes home to his beautiful girlfriend Vanessa. Wade's life is pretty happy and satisfied. That is, of course, until a certain chain of events puts a man named Cable into his path. Cable is from the future, back in time, trying to kill a little kid John Connor style, who also happens to be a mutant possessing fire abilities. Deadpool, having a bit of a heart, does not take lightly to this and decides he's gonna fight Cable back, protect this kid, and maybe join the X-Men for a little teamwork. And that's all I'll pretty much say without giving any spoilers to you guys. This is a spoiler-free review. I'm just gonna tell you what I liked about the film, what I didn't like, hit you with a rating system just like this one, breaking down the elements of the film and giving you a final ranking. Now, I obviously love the first Deadpool film like many of us out there. With Deadpool 2, I was very excited to hear that they were gonna bring Cable into it. Cable was always a mutant that sort of mystified me. I never quite understood his origin story, but I just knew that him and Deadpool really worked well together, so I was excited to see that on the screen. All the trailers seem to point to another great, fun, action-packed film, and I can honestly say they delivered, minus a few things. Starting off with the positives though, the comedy in this film, they keep it just like the first one, and they even elevate it to new heights. I'll even far out say that this was funnier than the first film to me by a long shot. Action in the film, they switched out directors for this one, unfortunately. I really like the first director. He's working on the Terminator right now. But this new director had work on John Wick, and he directed Atomic Blonde. Obviously, you could tell there's some pretty awesome hand-to-hand combat in there, and they bring that into this Deadpool film, and they significantly improve the hand-to-hand combat. So great part to that, David Leitch, the director. Now with this film, we have a cascade of new characters joining Deadpool along him, and they all work pretty well. I'll get to the one that doesn't work so well in a sec, but the standout for sure was Domino. Domino is played to perfection in this film. She is going to be your new favorite mutant, and you're going to want her abilities. Now, if you're familiar with the comics, Domino has the ability of luck. Just any situation she's in, she's just pretty lucky. I did not know how they were going to adapt that, but they do it so well. She even gets her own little scene. Cable does well in the film as well. This is the summer of Josh Brolin, but I can honestly say Domino was a way better addition than Cable was. Nothing bad on Josh Brolin's acting here. It had a lot more to do with the character development, which I'll get to later. You have Negasonic coming back, who I was hoping her role was going to be increased, but honestly it was actually reduced. She doesn't have a lot of screen time in this film, which kind of sucks because I like me some Negasonic. That was creepy. Another positive of the film, if you're a fan of the comics, if you're just in love with these superhero genre films, they do a lot of fan service. So if you're well versed in the X-Men universe, you're going to be very happy with some of the choices they make here. There's cameos in the film that are really fun to see. Kind of confuse you on their timeline, but they're fun to see. There's a surprise mutant in this film, which I'm pretty sure we all know who that is, but I'm not going to say it just in case you don't know. And one of my last big positives I'm going to give to this film is, with a character like Deadpool, I was always worried when I read him in the comics, when I see him on screen, that this guy cannot be dramatic. When something horrible happens in Deadpool's life, I cannot see him taking the situation seriously. He'll turn anything into a joke, and when serious moments hit, he won't be able to take that punch. And honestly, they do an amazing job. There are some tragic things that happen in Deadpool in this film. And the way Ryan Reynolds decides to play it off with the character, brilliant. Really good job. Made me feel for the character. Made me realize he's not just a goofball the entire time. There is some depth to this Deadpool character, and it makes you care about him. Now, aside from all that, as much as I love the film, I highly recommend it, and I put it sort of on par with the first film, there are a few things that might drastically hold this film back from us wanting to see this universe again. Now, early in the year, we heard rumors that the early test screenings tested poorly with Deadpool. I did not believe that for a second, but then I heard other rumors that there was an Alien 3 type dilemma with the film. If you're a movie fan, you'll understand that. If you're not, it's no point me explaining that to you because that's kind of a spoiler. So with that aside, the movie does not suck. I guarantee it does not suck. You're gonna have a good time. You're gonna love this film. But there are gonna be two things scratching your head at the end of this film that's gonna bug you a little bit and might leave a bad taste in your mouth when you leave the theater. I couldn't believe that they had the balls to do this, but honestly they handled it in a good way. Also because it happened so early on in the film, and it's understandable so why they did this for Deadpool. They needed to give him the creative freedom. They needed to expand his character a little more. They couldn't have him chain-balled. So I understand why they did it. Fans are still going to be upset because of a certain beloved character no longer being in the screen with them. The second thing that's going to have your head scratching is the whole Cable time travel situation. Now there is some time travel involved with this film, and they don't go too far into over-explaining it, but they do use it as a cheap trick to get out of a situation. and it dropped me from liking the film just a little bit less because they went ahead and did that. Another negative I'm going to give for the film is Cable basically has no backstory. This film is heavily relying on you knowing Cable's origin story and figuring it out for yourself. And like I mentioned earlier, Cable is a mysterious, complicated mutant with a very complex past. I can understand why the film didn't want to go ahead and tackle all that. They don't explain why he has the metal arm, the cybernetic eye, or even what his abilities are. It's just basically, I need to kill this kid because he ruins my future, and I can time travel. In a weird way, if you're just a casual fan and know nothing about Cable, this is just going to be a strange curveball that the film throws at you. Fun for the fans, confusing for casual members. And how I mentioned earlier, not all the characters are as amazing as they could be. The one they bring in, which is sort of the future villain, the kid with the fire powers that Cable is coming back in time to destroy. In this film, he comes off as a crybaby, emo, one-dimensional. You really don't go to loving this character, and sometimes his jokes feel a little forced. I wanted to really like this character because I know what the actor is capable of, but the film did not pull it off well. And speaking of unutilized characters, it's no secret or spoiler that the X-Force is somehow involved in this film. While the scene to round them all up together and go into action was hilarious, especially Peter, all those characters were wasted in a matter of minutes. Not saying what happens to them, but they're not in the film for very long. You have some great talents involved. Why not utilize them to their full extent? Alright, so for Deadpool 2, I'm going to give action 4 stars. Like I said, the hand-to-hand combat is amazing in this film, and Colossus has a badass fight scene. Comedy in the film, I'm going to give 5 stars to, just because I love the humor in this film, and I think you will too. Drama in the film, I'm gonna give 3 stars. Now that's a little surprising to me, but like I said, there is a little tragic thing involved in the film. Handles it quite well. Horror in the film, I'm gonna give half a star, just because, like I said, it's a bit of a crude film, and if you take your child, that's your own risk, but I say you're an awesome parent. Suspense in the film, I'm gonna give 2.5 stars. There really isn't anything here that keeps you wondering what's gonna happen. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it a C+. Cinephiles, I'm going to give it an A-. And critically, I'm going to give it a B-. In the end, for Deadpool 2, I think this is one you add to your collection at home.
That's a keeper.
I still highly recommend it because it is hilarious. It is a good time. The action is fun. It's going to be a great movie to watch. But anyways, guys, that's just my opinion on the Deadpool sequel. If you got around to seeing it, let me know what your thoughts of the film were. And please, while you're here, subscribe to my channel. Hit that little button right there. Get notified for my videos. But as always, guys, I'm Chris. Take care.